Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to another episode of Pan the Organizer. This is another special video because my girlfriend bought a new vehicle. You guys are going to find out what it is. If you want to have some fun, try guessing before you see it. What is it? So she had a Nissan Rogue for 4 years, 80,000 kilometers, almost 50,000 miles, and it was time to move on to a new journey. So we took delivery of it, and finally I was able to convince her to step into maybe a little bit of entry-level luxury kind of thing, right? She usually is not at all somebody who likes luxury. She's a simple person. I love her for that. But this time I think she stepped it up a notch thanks to my advice. We tried the usual suspects. So the Toyotas, the Hondas, we had some Hyundai, some Kia, some Mazda, all those. And then another brand, again, to step it up just a little bit. I think you guys are going to love it. The color is beautiful, and you're going to see all the steps because I took delivery with her, and that same evening I did a full detail, interior and exterior. You're going to see all the steps, all the products, all the tools. You're going to get the tips, the tricks. It's getting the entire treatment of Pan the Organizer. So a 3-part series. Part number 1 today, we'll unveil the vehicle so you can see what it is. Then we're going to tackle the first wash and decontamination. And then part 2, following not too long from now, will be the complete exterior paint correction and application of a ceramic coating. And part number 3 will be the interior. So without further ado, let's go ahead and start the show. All right, here it is, guys. This beautiful 2025 Audi Q3, an optional progressive trim, which means it also has a 2-liter 4-cylinder turbocharged engine pushing 228 horsepower. She took the optional Chronos Gray metallic paint finish, these gorgeous 19-inch 7-spoke rotor style wheels, the S-Line package for the appearance. We get the black optics package, which includes a black front grille, black window trim, black roof rails. You can also notice the black rings and badging to give it that aggressive sporty look. She also got the Sonos premium sound system, so a banger of a vehicle. We asked the dealership that they not add any protection on the paint, no tire dressing, just clean the inside and out for delivery, so that way we can take care of everything. By the way, I'll leave the links to all the tools, products, and equipment in the description under the video for you guys to check them out. So all you have to do is sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. So first order of business, as we're going around the vehicle, we are going to use a solvent-based tar and glue remover, in this case Citrol 266. To remove those little dots there, colored dots that you see on new tires. Those are factory markings to help the tire technicians with correct mounting and balancing by indicating the tire's lightest and stiffest points. I don't really like those, so I remove those before we do the full detail. Next, we're going to use the Garage Therapy Decon shampoo, first in the foam cannon. So with warm water, they tell you to use 400 milliliters of warm water and 50 milliliters of product. So just a little under 2 ounces of the soap, and that's going to start the breaking down process of the older waxes or any final step kind of quick detailers that they used at the dealership. In this case, they didn't use anything, but we're still taking our precautions. This doesn't fully strip off previous protection, but it does help with the breaking down process. So we put that 400 mils of warm water with the 50 mils of product in the foam cannon. Here we're using the Quiver foam cannon and the Quiver pressure washer shotgun. Absolutely amazing. Snaps on quickly with a 1/4-inch quick connect. And we're just going to spray on the dry paint. We're going to let that dwell for roughly 4 to 5 minutes. It's important to not let the product dry on the surface. So you got to make sure that you work in conditions that allow you to keep that dwell time without the product drying on the surface. So as you can see here, it has nice cling, and that texture helps to bring that dirt and debris off. It starts to break down the browning on the tires as well, as you can see in the froth on the bottom there. So just some good lubrication. It does everything well. I really like this Decon shampoo. This is not something that you use for every wash, something when you want to do a deeper cleaning, right? So next we're going to attach the Mosmatic wand. We're using a 5.0 orifice nozzle here because I'm also using the AR630 V2 pressure washer, my favorite new pressure washer, 2.3 2.3 gallons per minute of water output, so even more performance than my Krenzla 1122, which had 2.1 gallons per minute of water output. And it's the AR is even more silent in operation, and I really, really like that. So with the Krenzla, I use a 4.5 orifice nozzle, which gives me around 1,000 PSI in that 2.1 gallons per minute. And with the AR 630 V2, I'm using the 5.0 orifice nozzle, which again gives me that same rough 1,000 PSI kind of rating, but 2.3 gallons per minute, so more water flow, which is the desirable thing for when you're detailing vehicles. So I really like that. So you do a good job of rinsing the vehicle. It's very important. So take the time to rinse the inner fender wells too. And this is your initial pre-wash, right? So the pre-wash is essential to remove all that loose dirt and debris and the grit. So you're going to have less chances of scratching or swirling or marring the paint during the subsequent contact wash. So the pre-wash is very important. Next, we're going to move on to clean the wheels and tires. I like to clean wheels and tires before the body because typically they're the dirtiest parts of the vehicle, right? So I'm using Yum Cars Undress for the tires, a tire dressing, and Yum Cars Wheels. That's an iron removing wheel cleaner for the wheels themselves. I'm using here the Auto Fiber barrel brush. It's microfiber lined, so perfect for those more delicate gloss black wheels like we have here kind of thing. Then a Detail Factory stiff nylon brush for the tire sidewalls. Give that a good scrub. We can see here there wasn't any previous dressing, so it's already pretty much white for the foam. And then I'm using a Detail Factory wheel face brush, very gentle for the front. Make sure you get those lug nuts. And then again, a thorough rinse. So that's a common theme here. Always rinse the vehicle thoroughly. Next, we're going to use an anti-rusting agent from Built Hammer. This is Adam Mac in a sprayer at a 5% dilution. So this here prevents that surface flash rust on the rotors. Next, we're using the same Garage Therapy Decon soap, but this time in the bucket for the contact wash. So in 4 to 5 gallons of warm water, you're going to add 65 milliliters for a strong Decon wash, according to their recommendations. So just over 2 ounces of that soap, and then suds it up. We're going to use the Clean by Pandy Organizer microfiber wash mitt. Absolutely amazing. Perfect blend, South Korean made, very plush, very soft. And I like to work from top to bottom, as you guys know if you've been watching my videos. So that way you're keeping the lower portions of the vehicle for the end, because those are typically the dirtiest, right? But an effective pre-wash like we did here removes pretty much all the grit anyways. The car is I'd say 80 to 85% clean at that point. So the contact wash is really to remove whatever dirt film is left on the vehicle. So I work again from top to bottom. So the top portion is the roof and the windows. Then I move to the midsection of the body. And of course you dunk your wash mitt to release all that dirt and debris with a grit guard in the bottom or a bucket filter to keep those grit particles and the loose dirt and debris at the bottom of the bucket and not going back into your wash solution. Regardless if you're using a 1 bucket method or a two bucket wash method, doesn't really matter. Just do a thorough job of cleaning all the surfaces. I'm working in a controlled environment here, 20 degrees Celsius or 68 degrees Fahrenheit and 45% humidity. So I'm not worried about the soap drying off in this case, because you don't want to let that dry on the surface, right? This is a higher alkaline pH type shampoo, so you want to be careful. I wouldn't use that on a warm surface or in direct sunlight, for example. Work in the shade on a cool surface. Next, we're using the Clean by Pandy Organizer iron remover to remove embedded iron particles and brake dust. This is a German machine. German brakes work super well, but they tend to release a lot of brake dust. I'm using the CR Spotless, the water deionizer with 0 ppm or particles per million of minerals in the water. So just pure water for the final rinse. That's the only time I use deionized water is for the final rinse. So that way I don't have encapsulated minerals drying off on the vehicle and potentially leaving water spots. And by the way, you noticed here, I didn't use a clay towel, the Clean by Pan clay towel, because there wasn't any embedded contamination that I could feel. So if you don't need to, you don't use that. So I only use the chemical decontamination in this case. Next, we're using the Clean by Pan, the Organizer microfiber drying towel, 35 by 27, twisted loop on one side, micro twisted loop on the other side. So you pick which side works best for you. The micro twist people love a lot because it doesn't snag on emblems. So you don't run the risk of snagging those loops. Very, very absorbent towel and very plush and delicate for the drying stage of the vehicle. So we're not inducing any marring here. You're noticing that I'm not using any quick detail spray because we're moving on to the next steps for part number 2 2 coming soon, which is going to be the machine polishing, the panel prep spray, and the application of a ceramic coating. So stay tuned for that, guys. Again, I'll leave the links to all the tools, products, and equipment in the description under the video. Check those out. Get all the cool products and gear. And in the meantime, don't forget, keep it tight, keep it clean, and I'll see you on the next one.